closer, my child.
All right, guys, welcome back to JT's Mixtape. Once again, I got my co-host Bryan with me, and we also have a special guest, Max Powers of Parasite TV. Welcome to the show, Max.
Hey, thank you so much for having me, guys. Super happy to be here. Excited.
Awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited. Max and I have been friends for probably almost 3 years now.
Mm-hmm.
Old TikTok buddies, and he's done my show once before, and I got to be honest, I listened back to it. I have a habit to do this. I probably talked over you more than I should have. So I'm going to try to let you talk more this time because...
Okay, my memory of that show is me just for 3 hours straight. So I don't remember like that at all. So you're good.
Yeah, I'm trying to grow. I'm trying to learn on these apps. So, but anyways, dude, I really appreciate it. I said, Max has a great perspective, and I've actually played a couple of his videos, and I'm going to play one of your videos soon because I've got a good one to play. But I want to start off with, have you ever seen this in China? China, as Trump would say.
I have just arrived to the craziest city on earth, and you probably have never even heard about it.
This is Chongqing, China, where they have petrol stations on top of roofs, trains that run through residential buildings, buses in the sky, elevators for cars, multi-story restaurants floating on the river, and also the deepest subway in the world. It goes down 118 meters, which is roughly the height of a 39-story building, and it took me 15 minutes just to get to the bottom. But the craziest part?
We're still on the ground floor.
You see, the reason people call Chongqing the 5D city is because it served as China's World War II capital. All of those old underground bomb shelters have since been transformed into roads, basements, and buildings. So, good luck finding your way around. Here, you think I'm on the ground floor, right? Wrong, because if you go to one side, you'll see you're on level 1. And if you go to the other side of the square, you're now on level 18. And almost everywhere in the city is like this. Here, we're on the 14th floor, and the elevator even shows you that. But if you walk outside, you're now on the ground floor again. And if you think simply walking around the city is confusing, try driving. One wrong turn on these roads and you're cooked. You might even find yourself accidentally entering the garage that is 500 meters to the bottom. Yes, I'm still driving down as I post this video.
A lot of questions, a lot of thoughts. First of all, look how much you can get done when there's no regulations. That's awesome.
I just don't even understand what I'm even looking at. I was trying before the show, I was trying to find kind of like a section of the city. Like I could see like from the actual ground and all the levels of the city. Because I'm not even sure what he's even talking about. Like, what do you mean he's like 118 meters? Yeah, so 118 meters, well, that's times 3 for us people on the imperial system. Like that's really, I don't even get it. I don't even understand.
It's like it must be built on like a multi-level, like plateauing mountainside or something.
I guess that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to even picture it.
Yeah, because there was mountains around and stuff, so it must have been just like they just like built out platforms and then just like kept going.
I think my Western brainwashed, propagandized brain immediately sees that, and that's what it thinks. I'm like, well, how many people like died figuring out how to do all this stuff, and how many regulations like keep us from doing stuff like that? But then I'm also like, a lot of regulations are just like bureaucracy scams. So yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's really, it's like a Herculean task to try to understand what it's like to have built that place or to live there, or what kind of lives the people have there, or what kind of lives, again, this might be my propagandized Westerner brain, but it's like, what kind of lives do people have to support a place like that in China? Because we hear such horrific things about some people's lives in China. And another thing I noticed that kind of gives me pause is like, there was no traffic. Like when he showed all of those roads, it's like 18 roads stacked on top of each other. There was like 20 cars total. So
Yeah.
like, not a lot of drivers. And a lot of those places look like mini cities built into those big, huge structures. So yeah, I don't know. I kind of question it.
Yeah, that's weird. Actually, as you say that, it makes me think of is it Turkmenistan or something like that? There,
Turkmenistan.
Turkmenistan, and then there's also but Astana in Kazakhstan, and there are these very elaborate cities with all kinds of crazy monuments and pyramids
No one that lives there.
and no one lives there.
This is the strangest country in the world. There are no people around anywhere. The city is full of these crazy lavish monuments. There is no traffic. Malls, hotels are all empty. So the question is, where is everyone? This is the country of Turkmenistan, and after visiting more than 130 countries, this place is unlike anywhere I've ever been. The president requires all buildings and cars to be white. Tourists who do visit are under strict requirements to have a guide with you at all times and are banned from visiting certain places in cities. Most websites and apps are banned, and Wi-Fi is pretty much non-existent. Every single activity we did, we were the only ones there, including this popular swimming hole and even the famous gas crater. We were the only ones who stayed at this awesome yurt camp. The airport is full of security guards, but for what? It's empty. Restaurants and streets, all the same. There are some camels around though. The locals I did meet were super friendly and welcoming. This place fascinates me and I've loved my time here so far, but the truth is there's just sort of a weird and eerie feeling you have when visiting here that's hard to explain.
Has like what North Korea vibes, where they have
Yeah.
like these
Yep.
grand looking cities and there's no one there. It's almost like, but I think like, at least, again, our Western brain is taught like, oh, those are just kind of facades and they're really not all that impressive, but it's just they're trying to keep up certain appearances. But it sort of does seem weird, like that city specifically, Chongqing, is that what it's called? Chongqing?
Mhm.
That almost sounds like, I might get in trouble for like it
It's, like,
almost
not
sounds
even
like
close
it
to
sounds
that.
like that's bait. Yeah. But anyways, that city looked really impressive as far as like in my brain. I was watching, I was thinking like, this is kind of what I think we thought the future was going to be like a
Yeah,
place like
some of it.
that. I mean, it looked pretty cool. It doesn't look like you get like you could never have convinced me if I didn't know where it was that wasn't a communist country.
Yeah. I didn't love the truck on a rope bridge. I was like, wait, what are we doing there? But yeah, I agree. It's really interesting because what would the anti or like reverse propaganda be towards like, well, yeah, they got people in factories and they have nets to keep them from killing themselves, so they have to work longer. And like, because it's like, what would you show the West to like reverse that or whatever? It's like, no, look how sick it is here. No one's having a bad time. Look how many roads we have, and like, look at this huge city. So yeah, it kind of throws you for a loop, like what are we supposed to believe? And you can't believe your eyes because you can look at all that stuff and go, wow, that's really cool, but then they also have slaves or something. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, well, I guess as we're told, I mean, I'm not trying to say that the communists are good, but at the same time, like I can't trust anything we've been taught anymore. So I don't even really know what's going on in that country. I mean, obviously it's a huge country. There's tons of people supposedly. I mean, I guess I believe that. Like, but yeah, I never would have thought that. What that almost kind of made me think of is like Taiwan or like Hong Kong, like places like that were kind of more like Western countries, but they were out east. And then, oh well, China's going to ruin those places. But then you see a place like that, and it's like they're doing something over there. I don't know how they're doing it.
Like not knowing how their economies and their systems function, because like there's whole like videos you can watch of cities that get made desolate in China where the whole entire city with skyscrapers and all are just like desolate, and then they just start blowing up the skyscrapers, and you're like, what is this about? And apparently there's like a building scam going on in China. There's like some like governmental building scheme that happens where if you build buildings that like the government I guess pays you to some degree, but if nobody fills them then they like have to get destroyed. And also there's another thing in Chinese lore that when somebody dies they believe it's bad luck to enter into the house for a certain amount of time or to ever even be in it if a person dies in the house. So a lot of the houses get abandoned because people in China don't want to be in places where people have died because of the demons afterwards.
So they blow up. Someone died in apartment 428B, dropped the skyscraper, destroy it.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. All right. Should we talk about the fires? Should we want to?
Yeah,
do
probably.
I
haven't talked to anyone about him yet.
Okay, well, good. Well, you can do it here first.
Over the course of the next several years, Los Angeles will be host to the World Cup, and then the Super Bowl, and then the Olympics. With this rebuilding effort needing to take place, is LA going to be ready for all of those global events?
My humble position, and it's not just being naively optimistic, that only reinforces the imperative of moving quickly, doing in the spirit of collaboration and cooperation. Donald Trump, to his credit, was helpful in getting the Olympics to the United States of America, to get it down here in LA.
Blazing.
Thank him for that. This is an opportunity for him to shine, for this country to shine, for California and this community to shine. The opportunity with all of that,
it's such
and
a bad
all that
optics.
opportunity and that pride and spirit that comes from not just hosting those 3 iconic games,
It's like we're
venues,
watching the Hunger Games
but
in real
also
life, guys.
the opportunity, I think, to rebuild at the same time. And that's why we're already organizing a Marshall Plan. We already have a team looking at
I don't think they're there.
LA 2.0, and we're making sure everyone's included, not just the folks on the coast, people here that were ravaged by this disaster.
Everything about that video is psychotic to me.
Yeah.
I by the end, I'm like, are they in a studio? I think they're in a studio. You see the lights on his forehead, which they can light anything. I'm sure they're
pretty perfect lighting.
Yeah, and then the background is perfectly like bokeh'd out, like it's and it's unmoving. Nothing moves the whole time. Isn't it supposed to be pretty windy right now? I don't know.
They got Ridley Scott to shoot the thing like it was the alien planet.
Yeah, I mean that's the least of the concerns. It's very what was it? The Olympics, the World Cup, and what else?
Oh gosh, I missed the other part. I knew Olympics and World Cup.
Isn't it interesting that right before they have these 3 massive like worldwide events, they have suddenly a bunch of room cleared up on Oceanside View?
And he's very positive about it.
He's naively optimistic.
Yeah. Also glazing Donald Trump like, dude, please help us.
Dude, you know what? It's funny. My first instinct was when I saw that clip floating around, I said, wait a minute, that's not from today or yesterday. When I saw it, I said, that can't be from today. There's no way. And I looked it up as I found it right on their website. And I was like,
what made you think
people
that?
are shameless.
What made you think it wasn't from today? Just because of
well, I guess I was just thinking like it's so callous and on the nose of like that we're already going to rebuild this stuff. You know, it actually takes me back to what was the congressman from like Connecticut at September 12th, 2001, and he was like, we could use this tragedy as an opportunity to build what George Bush's father once said, a new world order. And you're like,
there is a chance for the President of the United States to use this disaster to carry out what his father, a phrase his father used, I think, only once, and hasn't been used since, and that is a new world order. Think about this.
Holy, like the place is still just
put the
burning.
brakes, just pump the brakes, dude. We're gonna do it. There's gonna be a new world order, but like, don't say it the day after.
I know the day. I mean, it's like you could imagine in the back.
Yeah.
You were supposed to wait at least 2 days.
Gavin Newsom wants to be an actor so bad. He's like,
oh yeah, his forward shoulder roll, like he's like when he's like doing this, like it's just like, what is that?
Is this choreographed? Who taught you this?
Yeah, it's choreographed for sure.
It does look like he's doing a TED talk, doesn't he?
He's on something. He's on a cocktail. He's probably a little drunk all the time. Just.
What was that? What was the was it French Maid or something? What was the place?
French Laundry.
French Laundry was it was he was.
I was just thinking about that. I'm like, he just came from a beautiful dinner.
Man, that was like the day they still said you still can't eat outdoors, outdoor dining, and then he's meeting with a bunch of health officials in French Laundry. None of them got masks
while their
on.
servants wear masks.
Dude. And unmasked. So ridiculous.
Nothing has ever radicalized me as hard as like our politicians meeting at the French Laundry and eating like a decadent meal while the servants wear masks. I was like, I'm going to blow something up. I'm going to be, I went nuts when that happened.
If you guys aren't aware, probably a lot of people listening probably aren't, that place, because it's an odd name for a restaurant, but I did look up the menu at one point. I want to say everything on that menu was like at least $200, right? It was like there was like $500 like items.
What do you think paid for it? The taxpayers paid for it too.
Yeah. I mean, I was just like, I had never even heard of a place like that, but I mean, like, I've never eaten a place that had prices like that on the menu. It's obscene. It is like the whole let them eat cake type thing. He is like a movie bad guy.
And it's like, it's just one of those situations where it's like, how much does he have to do and say? How many times does he have to be caught like being an absolute cringe lord? Like when he was like caught on video cleaning up the canal, and it's like he wasn't caught on video. He had a camera crew follow him, and then he was like while they filmed, and then he's like, okay, cut it, I need a shower, like chemical bath right now.
I guess somebody on the East Coast, I just see, and obviously Bryan's as a Californian, I just think like, he's still governor. How is he still governor? Everyone knows
he's doing such a good job.
He's like, everybody seems to not like him. Like, who likes him?
I do have an answer for that though, because like we all know at this point, and I mean, even a lot of normies that aren't into this stuff are probably starting to get a feeling like Biden. I mean, Biden was, maybe he wasn't, but I have to believe that Biden was a huge wake up call, because that guy was a walking corpse before he got elected, and they still put him up on the podium and made him.
He's sharper than he ever was. Is what
behind the scenes. I mean, behind the scenes, he's like giving monologues like without stuttering. But no, I mean, he was a puppet. That's the most obvious. And then they're like, well, maybe it's Kamala. I'm like, it's not Kamala. Listen to her talk. She has no idea what's going on. So obviously we know like so many of our leaders are just like, I don't even think it's like Israel in a lot of cases. I think there's like a hidden hand that we'll probably never know about that controls a lot of the behind the scenes stuff. And a lot of these people are puppets. And the reason people like Gavin Newsom stay in office so long is because they have no shame. They will do and say whatever they're told, or maybe it's not they're being told to say it at all times, but they know the party line and they'll just do it. They don't care because he's rich and he's powerful. But yeah, I think he just, there's been other people along those lines, like the Chicago mayor that got ousted, I think last year I forgot her name, but she was just like that. She'd just do and say the craziest stuff. And you're like, why would you even say this publicly? And like, it was really similar with Josh Green and Maui. I haven't checked up. I know I probably should have checked up on Maui in the last year, but like, I think there was literally like smoldering bodies behind. There was a smoldering building that they hadn't gone through. So there's potentially dead people right behind him. And he was like, oh yeah, we're going to buy up all this land and put worker housing, and maybe we'll do like a monument or something to the lives lost. And there's like people whose houses burnt down right there. And they're like,
aloha, Hawaii. Behind me, you can see the devastation here in Lahaina. We're on Front Street. I just walked the entirety of this road with Senator Schatz, Mayor Bisson. It's extraordinary. It is tragically gone. We know that many people are suffering. The fatality numbers will climb somewhat today, and we'll have those numbers for you. Everyone, love your neighbors, support them, because this is devastating for Maui. We probably have well over 1,000 buildings that have been destroyed. Many hundreds of families have been displaced. We'll rebuild. The president has already, just in 6 hours, authorized and approved our request for emergency support, but it's going to be a long haul. Again, the devastation is behind me, but we will put hope out in front of us. Aloha. I'm already thinking about ways for the state to acquire that land so that we can put it into workforce housing, to put it back into families, or to make it open spaces in perpetuity as a memorial to people who were lost. We want this to be something that we remember after the pain passes as a magic place. And Lahaina will rebuild. The tragedy right now is the loss of life. The buildings can be rebuilt over time. Even the banyan tree may survive. But we don't want this to become a cleared space where then, yes, people from overseas just come and decide they're going to take it. The state will take it.
It's like, no, that's not your land. We're going to take it. And that, like, I know that wasn't the clip where he said it, but there's another clip of Newsom. I think it's from 2 days ago, where it's almost verbatim. He's like, oh, Josh Green from Hawaii is making sure that we don't have the wrong speculators come and start buying up land. It's like, oh, so there are speculators coming, just not the wrong ones.
We're dealing with a myriad of issues. I was just talking to Josh Green, the governor of down in Hawaii, who had some ideas around some land use concerns he has around speculators coming in, buying up properties and the like. So we're already working with our legal teams to move those things forward, and we'll be presenting those in a matter of days, not just weeks.
That's a crazy video.
You know, something they left out in that video, though, was the fact that they also want to build the high-speed railway, I guess, is like a thing that I heard. That was being halted because they've been wanting to build it for a while, and it's like keeps getting halted. But now they wanted to go through the one originally, I guess, and now they can do that.
And just in time for the World Cup and the Olympics and all that stuff.
Super Bowl, World Cup, and Olympics.
Well, maybe it was the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's right.
You're
It's
right.
the Super Bowl. Here, check this out. I'm going to play this other video. This relates.
Okay, so California's on fire, but we have like the best fire department in the world, right? We should be able to contain this, right?
I mean, we did, but the mayor cut the fire department's budget last year, so not enough personnel for this one.
What? Well, I mean, we don't need everybody. We just need a certain amount to spray the area with water.
Oh my god, I love that you say it. It's so funny because the state actually depleted its water reserves a couple months ago, so the firefighters literally don't have enough water to fight the fires with.
Wait, that doesn't make any sense. We're in a drought, and so we depleted our water reserves? Well, at least the people that have fire insurance will be getting some money, right?
Ooh, this is awkward. Okay, don't get mad at me, but insurance companies like State Farm has not been allowing renewal of fire insurance policies since 2 months ago, and it's been canceling a lot of contracts.
So let me get this straight. 2 months before the fire, the state depleted its water reserves. Insurance companies have been canceling its fire insurance policy. It's like it's Maui all over again, but it's not like the state needs to free up a whole bunch of land to open up a new smart city infrastructure, right? Because we haven't announced anything like that, did we?
The LA district might have announced plans to set up a smart city by 2028. So it's like Maui all over again.
Yeah.
Why are we even here? That guy nailed it.
It's a comedy skit. I mean, it's satire. That's what I was saying. I think that's what really kind of struck me. I was just like, there's no way that these people are that bold, but there they are. He had another good one where he was like, the people of California were screaming, "Come help me!" And he's like, "Don't worry, send $4 billion of aid."
Yes.
To Israel and Ukraine.
Yes.
Wait, no, what?
So funny.
So yeah, Biden, yesterday came out and says he's going to give each person who was affected by the fire $770. What are they going to do? Like, I don't even understand what they're going to do.
Houses right now in LA.
I really don't. I don't even understand. I mean, it's like, what is that supposed to do? I really have no idea.
Last time you went to the grocery store. That's like a month of groceries for a family, if that.
That dude has never went to the groceries by himself.
Yeah.
Never. Like, I think these people have no idea, like, about those kind of things. It's like, so, and like $770, if you have a family, like, that would last you, like, maybe 2 weeks at, like, buying food and stuff.
If you're staying at a cheap hotel 2 hours outside of LA, you might be able to get a hotel room for like 4 or 5 days on $770. Maybe.
But yeah, I'm just talking about food. Yeah. Like, obviously you'd have to go crash somewhere else. I don't even know what that's supposed to do, but I mean, it is funny when you toss around the numbers about how much money we give in foreign aid all the time to random things. I don't know what that would be if they never did that and you could divide it by like the people in Carolinas, the Appalachians, and also in Maui, and then here. Like, what if you never sent that money?
You know what would happen? Bad things would still happen, but life would make sense and it would feel like America. It wouldn't feel like somebody's out to get you all the time. And the reason it feels like that is because they are. They're just smart about it. They're just doing it slow. And now, starting a couple years ago, they're not even doing it slow anymore. But the water's been warming up for so long that we don't even realize when there's like a 15 or 30 degree jump in the boiling water that we're all in. And like when Maui happened, I stopped everything that I was freaked out when Maui happened. Absolutely freaked out. I stopped everything I was doing, and I put every single detail I could into a video about it. And you know, I'm like, this is crazy. People can't forget this. And then they do it like a year and a half later in the mainland. And all the signs are there. Like, we should be screaming in the streets, not even just over this, but over everything that's happening, like all the foreign aid, like, but they have an army that's twice as loud or 3 times as loud, maybe half as big. They're screaming, no, we need to keep sending the aid. They need the aid. They're our allies. You know, it seems like they have a lot of people like screaming that it's justified that we need to do it. And then those people ignore when tragedies that are just as bad happen here, except maybe they're worse because maybe we're doing it to ourselves, but the government would never do that.
We also gave all of our extra firefighter equipment to Ukraine just a few months ago as well. And
also the 2 months thing, that's criminal. That's planned.
Yeah, that was totally planned.
You know, I don't even like. I was just thinking about that. Like that. It seems to me, obviously, if we lived in a place that was fair and actually did have laws, you would think that if you paid insurance, like, I mean, you buy a house, right? And you can get all the insurance for everything, right? Because I'm not buying a house probably in an area that like if you like lived in a flood area and you couldn't get flood insurance, you would say, well, I'm not buying that house because what happens if it floods? Then obviously I'm going to be screwed. So if you're in somewhere in California and you can't get fire insurance, when obviously wildfires are not new, well, then I'm not going to buy that house. But then you live in a place where like they make you pay for fire insurance for, let's say you paid 20 years, 30 years.
Yeah, decades.
Yeah, you never put a claim in. And then one day they just stop. I want all the money back from all the other previous times if you're going to pull out. I mean, I feel like that should be justified. What are you going to like? Because they could just cancel anybody's insurance whenever they want, right?
But,
and I guess that's the law. I mean, they can, but I mean, it does feel like that there should be some kind of a refund.
Look at the class of people that these aren't Maui, these aren't Hawaiian natives in Lahaina. Look at the class of people that's being affected. Do you think a meaningful group of rich Hollywood celebrities are going to step out and go, hey, they didn't let us renew our insurance. We want our money back. And we want to know why the government did this and why they're not going to they're going to stop behaving the way they've been behaving for the last 10 years. Like, you know, when they started telling us how we should feel about everything and like, you know, imagine there's no heaven and all that stuff. Like, no, like they're not going to say anything because it's to them, to a lot of these people, and not everyone, of course, not everyone, but to a lot of these people that have a voice, they just lost 1/5 of their, you know, residential portfolio or,
they got other houses.
Yeah. They might've lost 1/5 of their portfolio. But they're going to be okay. They're not going to stand up and freak out about this.
Yeah. But I mean, obviously all the people who are not them, who are probably regular people. I mean, imagine just like if you were kind of grandfathered in by like people owning a house in their family who obviously really can't afford that house. I mean, it's like the way interest rates are and the way that obviously housing jumped up everywhere. I think most people can't really afford, they could not afford to rebuy their house in the market that we're in. So, I mean, I can imagine only like it's times like 100 when you go to like HELL.A. And if you had like a 1,000-foot ranch, it's like worth like $1 million, which obviously everywhere else in the country would be like $1 million would get you something pretty nice. Well, not as nice as it used to, but.
Did you guys see that one gentleman that he wasn't an actor or anything? He's just a normal guy that's lived in LA for, 30 years or something in his 70s. And he stayed behind with one hose, just wetted down his property and his house and stuff, and everything's totally fine. I need to go. I think I saved the video. I need to go back and like get that guy's name and just keep tabs on him for a couple of years and see what happens to him in his house, because I don't think he's keeping it.
Like a wall of fire, just coming embers everywhere.
Felipe Carrillo is worried stronger winds could send flames from the Eaton fire back towards his home in Altadena. Two of the only houses still standing on his block are homes he says he personally saved with his garden hose.
I caught on fire a couple of times.
You caught on fire?
Yes, and so what I started doing is every once in a while I would just spray myself with the garden hose. Just soak myself with the garden hose and continue to fight.
He's since lost electricity and his water supply is run dry. But he's afraid if he leaves the evacuation area, he won't be allowed to return. So he's gathered up fire extinguishers and gardening tools to battle any future fires.
So if by chance an amber hits the house and starts, I'm going to give it my best.
And he's filling buckets using his pool, still coated in ash.
I know they're dirty, but water is water.
Yeah, I'm going to switch gears because I don't want to spend the whole time talking about this subject, but I thought it was a good transition because you mentioned, imagine there's no heaven. Let's watch this video.
At Jimmy Carter's funeral, this was the music that was played.
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try.
They're in a big church.
No hell below us.
There's a choir right next to this guy in liturgical garb.
Above us only sky. Imagine all the people.
The former and current presidents are just
for today.
Ha ha! Oh man, that was my reaction. Ah! Why are you playing this atheist communist gobbledygook in a cathedral at the funeral of a supposed Christian? Many people say that Jimmy Carter, whether you liked him as a president or not, no one can doubt his deep Christian faith. I don't know. I'm not here to judge Jimmy Carter's supposed faith, but that is not the song that is played at the funeral of a Christian.
I'm sure a lot of those, I think the important part of that song that those type of people like to latch onto is the no hell beneath us part. I'm sure they really are hoping that's true.
Yeah, I would say so. What do you think, Bryan? You think that's a song to be played at a Christian's funeral?
I mean, you know, what is a Christian at this point? Anyways, like, honestly, like Jimmy Carter, the president, like, how involved is he in the occult? I wonder. I don't even, I mean, I think it's a fitting song for their circumstance, to be completely honest. I don't even know, man. Like, dude, at this point, like, those people are all involved in some dark, dark stuff. And they're probably laughing. They probably chose that song to laugh about it as a joke. Like, and whoever the people were, they thought, oh, that's hilarious. Let's play that song. That's funny. Imagine there's no heaven. Yeah, we'll for the people of the elite that are dying. Like, I don't even know, man. That's a weird one.
Yeah, I'm kind of agreeing with both you guys where it's like like if you were them, I mean, you guys certainly live like there's no heaven or hell. Like all you politicians, it's like good grief. But I mean, like was there a preacher who got up and gave a eulogy? I mean, did anybody say anything and pray? Like, cause it is weird because, you know, I've been to my fair share of funerals, too many lately, but most people, especially are Christians, is like, you know, I always go back to when the Thessalonians, when Paul says that we don't mourn like those who have no hope because we believe in life after this. And that's obviously what you do to comfort people, to say, hey, you know, you believe in Christ, they're better off than we are. We'll see them again. You know, imagine there's no heaven. Like what do you mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like that is so depressing. And it does speak to these people are depraved. It's like, again, they have no fear of the Lord. They act like they don't. They act like their own gods. They act like there are gods. And you know, I probably should dig up the video, but like there's the video of like Trump and Obama yucking it up. And you're like, these people are actors, aren't they? It's like, do you imagine all the terrible things they've said about each other, and then they're goofing off?
Did you guys see the kind of accurate lip reading of that exchange?
No,
I haven't.
It seemed accurate to me. You know, I was watching their lips and looking at the subtitles.
I've only seen the bad lip reading of that exchange.
Right. Yeah, I saw like a more accurate one. It was really zoomed in, and it seemed to be fairly accurate. And what it was is, I mean, I think Trump's a people person, and I think for some of them, maybe it's not too late to try to salvage what they think they have left of a political career. And they have, you know, if you're 60 or 61 or 62, and you think you're going to be alive for another 20 or 30 years, and you have, you know, tens of millions of dollars on the line to keep your political options open. I think that's what the lip reading was like. Obama basically talking about how he had to do what he had to do for Kamala, but you know, she had no chance, and Trump was, she's terrible, you know. And that's when Obama kind of chuckles. You know, it wasn't like, hey, we did it, you know, because then the rest of them ignored Trump. They hate Trump, and I have serious issues with Trump and like on certain things, but you know, you can't deny that a lot of these people hate him.
Yeah, it is weird that
they're mad.
And then Obama seemed to be friendly with him.
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously guys like him have compared him to like the guy from Germany with the little mustache.
Yeah, he's calling him Hitler like 3 months ago.
Yeah, like, I mean, it wasn't even that. Yeah, it wasn't that long ago. And then yeah, so it's more like that. I could see Trump, because Trump obviously rubbed shoulders with all these people back in the day, and they were backslapping and everything in the club, and then they treat him like this. And so, Mia, I have wondered this lately. It does seem like, man, the Democrats are pretty quiet about him getting ready to take office. Like, because I mean, you remember the first time when they were, you know, get the meme of that woman screaming no, and all the just the hysteria about him becoming president. It's almost like, yeah, why aren't they freaking out more? Like, this doesn't seem normal, right?
How do you guys feel about the whole, like, oh, trust the plan, and he's been the president the whole time, and they, you know, they had to
like
wrap
a
it up.
joke of idiocy. That's so stupid.
Yeah,
the Q stuff. I can't,
because you're like, I mean, just none of it plays out the way that it's supposed to have played out, and then they're like, exactly,
that's controlled opposition. So because here, I'll tell you right now, the real original Q was John McAfee. Okay,
that makes sense.
John McAfee got killed. They found out it was John McAfee. They raided his place. He actually posted right before he got murdered. He posted a Q on his Instagram. I saw it, and he said, "I wonder what this guy has to say." And then all of a sudden his Instagram post got removed, and he got killed like right then afterwards. And I was like, why did it get removed? Like, what a weird post to get removed. Because I tried to go to it I videoed it when he posted it, but I tried to go screenshot to show somebody else, and it was gone. And I think it got removed after he died, actually. So he posted the Q, he died, and then like a day or two after, it got removed. And I'm like, how does that get like? So it was very obvious that he got access to the full government. He says it in that Adult Swim interview. For those that haven't seen it, watch the Adult Swim interview with John McAfee. He posted it. They figured out he was Q. They killed him, and they've been running Q through his stuff ever since. So it's not.
Well, he doesn't just say the cool thing about that interview too. And I'm not technologically savvy enough to explain like how he explained it, but he made it very clear how he got in and how he took over the systems. And it's like, oh, okay, it sounds like you really did that. And then remember, after he died, they leveled that building where he had his like servers or whatever. I think it was in Miami or something. They leveled a building. Like a building just collapsed all of a sudden with people in it. It was an apartment building.
Well, that's that one where that was a really sketchy one too, about how that building just.
Yeah, people just kind of forget. I mean, and it's not like I don't have like a running list of everything that happens, but it just popped into my head when Demon Erasers was talking about that. So
that's all. So now Q is just controlled opposition at this point. And so it's been controlled opposition for a while, but because the original post of Q was John McAfee outing some of the child trafficking stuff. That was what the original post of Q was. And then after that, it's been people trying to claim to be him, people trying to facade, and then when they killed him, the government's taken over. So now Q is just Hillary Clinton. If you don't think so, it's pretty obvious. You got to be a fool to not recognize it at this point.
What do you guys think? Just real quick before we move on, I've seen a lot, and I think I kind of tie this type of stuff like, wow, wouldn't that be nice if it was true? But like, it's probably not. To all the Q stuff is like, as soon as these fires started, it was like they're burning down all the pet nests. It's like, no, I don't think so, dude.
Bro, Diddy's house survived. Did you know that?
Exactly.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, Diddy's house didn't get burned, surprisingly, which is, it's very fascinating that his house didn't get burned. It makes me wonder because that's like, it's not necessarily bearing a lot of evidence. That's not exactly what's happening right here.
Yeah.
And check it out, Max. I posted this today. Eddie Griffin sparks controversy with claim LA wildfires smokescreen to cover up Hollywood trail.
It's the British spelling, so it's.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I was saying that kind of threw me a little bit. And of course, my response to this was, Undercover Brother was a documentary. Changed my mind. Look at that and conspiracy. Look at the fire in the background.
Yeah. Oh my God, I didn't even think about that. Well, and then it's like,
and the black helicopters.
But it's like, when these actors kind of step out and they're like, this is what actually is going on. It's like, that would have been super interesting if you said this 6 years ago. But now it's been in the zeitgeist for 10 years. Like, oh, they're trafficking children, the Pizzagate stuff. Wouldn't it be crazy if Eddie Griffin came out and said that, hey, this is going on in 2014 or something? Now I'm like, yeah, people want to hear that,
He would have got Isaac Kappy.
Yeah.
Back in the day, that's the thing, man. It's like when you look into some of the people who spoke out a long time ago, it's like, yeah, those people are no longer with us.
Unpopular opinion. I think Isaac Kappy, and I don't mean by Tom Hanks or whatever. I spent about 3 weeks watching all of Isaac Kappy's stuff because I made a Patreon video about him, fully intending to be like, Tom Hanks killed him. And what Tom Hanks said was super weird. And I think he was if you're Tom Hanks and you're not into all that stuff, and then this guy dies that was accusing you of stuff, I don't think you respond. I don't think you're like, oh, that's weird. Why would he think that? But Tom Hanks was doing those weird.
Yeah, posts. Really weird clues.
But I don't think he had him killed. Isaac Kappy found a sex trafficking ring, but it wasn't it wasn't a Hollywood pedophile one. He was talking about all this stuff, and this other lady researcher who no one knows about it. I forgot her name. It's on my Patreon. I can go get the name or something. But she got in touch with Kappy and was like, hey, I love what you're doing. There's actually this trailer park, and they have an office and everything. It wasn't even a trailer park. It was a you can go visit and set up your tent. They had reviews. It was a Adventure California thing. And but it was out in the middle of nowhere. And it was 4 miles from where Isaac Kappy jumped off that. Or it was 12 miles or something, right off the same highway that Isaac Kappy jumped off the bridge. Mm-hmm. And their place where their business is actually registered, they have an office of, is even closer to where he died. And she told him about that, and then he said he was going to go look it up. And these were some straight Eastern European dudes that were operating this thing. And some people that showed up to vacation there, set up their tents Joshua Tree style, got confronted by an Eastern European guy with a gun. He's like, get out of here. And they're like, we made reservations, what the hell? And he was like, get out, I'll kill you, And then you could go find the Google review of this place where they're like, yeah, this crazy guy with a gun chased us off. But then there's other Google reviews from there's an Australian guy that was like, this is the most beautiful place I've ever been. And then there's a Chinese person who's like, I had a great time here. It's really weird. It was really weird. But I think Isaac Kappy, he had really good intentions and stuff. And maybe I believe a lot of what he said, but I think he just straight up got himself killed. Cause I know he went and visited there. And then shortly later he was all drugged up and fell off a bridge.
Do you know what? Didn't he have some kind of a, if I die, here's.
Yeah. The tape came out. It was actually, you can actually look it up. It's supposedly of Tom Hanks's basement. that he released, and it's a bunch of little kids in togas in this really rich place carrying grapes, and they are like look like little slave children.
Yeah, like they're walking around like how you walk around when you're doing your waiter job.
Yeah,
like they're walking around like they've
children.
been trained to do their little jobs. It's really
it's
disturbing.
Really weird clip, and you can look it up. It's
a bathhouse. It's definitely like a bathhouse setup. And it's like marble everywhere. It's super weird, but
very fancy.
And it was connected with Tom Hanks.
Supposedly, it was Tom
in the
Hanks's.
context of Isaac Kappy saying it was, but that's the problem with a dead man switch. A dead man switch, I mean, it has to be really damning to be effective. And that, unfortunately, his that video without context, you'd watch it and go, "Wow, that's weird," and that's it.
Right?
So.
Yeah, without some kind of connecting to somebody else, like Seth Green. And Seth Green was another one he was really calling out big time.
And I can't help but when I watch Isaac Kappy, I see somebody that is having like extreme mania.
You remember him. Epstein is also Kevin Spacey. Epstein is also Prince Andrew. Epstein is also... Who else is Epstein? Who else is Epstein? Tell me. You guys know? Who else is Epstein? Is Epstein Big Pharma? Is Epstein Bryan Singer? Is Epstein Naomi Campbell? Yep, all of the above. All of the above. Who is Epstein? Epstein is the keystone of a whole motherfucking matrix. And once you pull it out, it all falls down. Dersh was there too. That's right, we're dropping red pills every day. Dropping red pills in the best kind of way. This is brackets and jackets for the denizens of islands.
And that can be brought on by seeing something really disturbing or finding out something really disturbing and having your,
or being involved in something disturbing himself.
He definitely was involved. He kind of said as much. He did something really bad right towards the end. And
there's a lot of conviction on that man. That dude has like some major conviction of feeling terrible that he's done stuff that he's obviously having a mental break from doing.
And then finding out people that you thought were like kind of normal were like absolute freaks. And you're on the outs for like not being cool with it. I think what happened is he was kind of partaking and then he had an absolute like mental breakdown from something. But yeah, I can't help but like you hear some stuff about celebrities. I'm like, I don't really care. I don't really believe that. And they're like so good. Like, I don't think it's true. But like Tom Hanks and Seth Green particularly, I'm like, I can't watch them. It's too, especially Seth Green. I see it. I can't help it.
Yeah, he does.
See it on his face.
He does seem really scummy, and I think Tom Hanks again. He's been a super likable actor, especially like in the '80s. He was, everyone loved him, and then but when I see him interviewed and stuff, he does seem like a real creep. What was I mean, especially when you think about the was it Ricky Gervais when he was roasting all those people?
He's like this.
He like, it's like. Tom Hanks started off as like a comedy guy. Like the jokes that Ricky Gervais were saying, he was obviously, he was killing. But I mean, like, so you think that like an actor who was a comedian could at least fake laugh. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, ha, like, ha, ha, ha. Yeah. Like, it's like, so when he definitely looked like what Ricky Gervais was saying, they were not jokes. It was the absolute truth. And that's why it was funny. And he said it was funny because he was saying in a room full of people who would be uncomfortable, and they all looked uncomfortable.
In this room are some of the most important TV.
And he's like, hey, he's your friend. I love that. Isn't it interesting? I'm going to pull JT and go, isn't it interesting? You always know JT's about to hit some fire and like say something he absolutely knows about. But isn't it interesting that Tom Hanks, like straight up, he like disappeared? And I know he's done a few projects and stuff, but like, Tom Hanks, peak of his fame, and then it's like, I'm gonna go, and I'm a Greek citizen now. And then I saw a blurb about how like his house survived also, and he made a comment like, oh yes, my house survived, but all the chaos I don't even know if I can be here anymore. I'm gonna have to sell my house probably. And I'm like, aren't you Greek now? What do you mean? Are you there? I don't think you're there. I think you're not in the country.
Bro, the fact that they're even talking about this fire to be a cover up for certain people's houses, like that alone should tell you that that's not what this is, because that's becoming too publicly known. That's becoming too, they want you to believe that it's a cover up thing. They want you to believe that. But Diddy's house didn't burn. Tom Hanks' house didn't burn. Like, clearly these are the houses that are in question right now at this moment for sure. And so like this stuff is not what it is. It's not what you think it is. It's something else that they're doing, and they're wanting you to think that it's that. They're wanting people, because they want people to go on the conspiracy rabbit hole. Why? Because then they can pull the rug out from under you and make everybody look, oh yeah, you thought it was a extortion thing. Well, guess what? It's not. Now you look like an idiot. Now you look like a stupid idiot. But it was a conspiracy. But it's just not the conspiracy.
Yeah, this is like the bigger. Yeah, this is like the bigger. This is like the 2030 stuff. Like, this is like the Davos stuff. This is not like about trying to cover. I mean, they don't care about.
They already know they already have all the evidence. It's already
how many million subscriber, or 500K subscriber channels are talking about the Great Reset publicly? How many of them are talking about you will own nothing and be happy? Tim Cass used to talk about it. I don't watch it anymore, but I don't think they're talking about that anymore. How many people are saying we're not going to eat the bugs, and they have a huge following? Like, I think child trafficking and trafficking in general it's disgusting that it's as big of an industry as it is. It's a huge industry. And I think that it is one of the most protected industries in the world. And it would be almost impossible to stop it. And that doesn't mean we shouldn't try. But also there's a very real push to, like, our society goes one way or another. And it was going one way, and then it's very slowly over the past like 40 or 50 years, like, no, you're not all gonna have cars and be driving around and have big houses and have access to your own healthcare and have access to, you're not gonna be able to farm. You can't just farm whenever you want. You can't just plant food and have your own food.
You guys can't be free.
That. Yeah. And it's all been very slow, and now it's like, we're burning down entire counties and we're gonna put smart cities in. And you're insane if you talk about it. It's like, I mean, nobody's talking about it. So that kind of seems to be and then when you do talk about it, your reach gets limited. And
yeah, you know what, as you say that, I was talking to my wife last night about the idea that, like, the housing market. Okay. So we know they printed a bunch of money, and that's why everyone's house became worth more. And their inventory is just low. It's like, no, obviously they printed trillions and trillions of dollars. They devalued our currency. And so everybody's house went way up. Back then, interest rates were like 2%. So then they all go way up when obviously nobody's even working hardly because it's during the pandemic. And then eventually interest rates go way up, but the house prices do not go down like they should. And so what people, I mean, I don't know why this is what I can't believe more people aren't talking about. It's like that, yeah, the American dream is dead. Like, no one is going to be able to buy a house in the future. Like, you can't, like, people coming up without means, without coming from a household full of means, they will never be able to buy a house in this country.
Own nothing and be happy.
Right. But it's like, but when is the last time you heard a politician say what I just said as matter of factly? It's like that. I heard somebody in real estate saying, oh, well, you can buy now and then you can hope to one day refinance. It's like, but we're talking about these ridiculous priced houses, and it's like, just for the hope that one day the interest rates will come down.
Refinancing should be like a last resort if, like, things aren't going well, right? Like, what do you mean hope to refinance?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like,
didn't I just get a good deal?
Well, what I'm saying is like that the houses have, in some cases, gone up like almost 100%, like in certain areas. And now the interest rates are like 7%. Like, so that's what I was saying, like, that most people could not buy their own house at what it costs at the rate currently. That's not sustainable. So yeah, so people, young people trying to go to college, getting in debt to do it, and then doing what afterwards. It's like the model is completely broken unless there's some kind of solution I have no idea about. But yeah, like what you're saying, it's what it seems to be is, as somebody in construction, obviously I notice when things are being built. I've been when we were in Raleigh, North Carolina, very nice area. What I saw a ton of was they're building these massive apartment buildings, just like that's what you see being built everywhere, because people aren't moving. Obviously, rent is like crazy in homes.
Well, the immigrants need somewhere to stay.
Well, obviously, we need them to get debit cards, and obviously. Yeah. Well, I mean, I want them staying at the Ritz-Carlton personally.
You got to spend it somewhere.
I would rather them stay at the nicest hotels in New York City.
Yeah, me too.
But yeah, like exactly. So that these kind of places they're going to build, it's going to be for the peasants, right? I mean, like that's what it's. So those are going to be the next class of people. Those are the class of people that they want. They're going to be living in like, I mean, you think about how. If you've ever driven across America,
they're going to be editing our YouTube videos. They're going to be uploading and processing them.
Man, I'm telling you, man, it's like, but yeah, what you're saying is like, that is, I mean, I guess
the solution is simple. The solution is really simple. We need more wars. We need war, dude. We need a big one.
We need more aid.
WW3.
We need more aid to Israel and Ukraine right now.
We need a big war to get behind.
Well, isn't it funny how like, the history books will tell you, well, that was pretty good for America, right? You know, they really will try to say that really.
Other than all the death and destruction, yeah, it was great.
Miss Lincoln, but besides that, how was the play?
Yeah.
All right, let's switch gears here. Actually, that's the end of the show. Yeah, I didn't really mention beforehand that this is actually a 2-part JT's mixtape. You know, having Max Powers in studio. Of course, we recorded for nearly 2.5 hours. So I had to break this one into 2 episodes. So that's the good news. I'll have part 2 up this week. You guys look out for that one. It's going to be about giants and World Fair stuff. Obviously, it's going to be lit. Hope you guys enjoyed part 1. Love you guys. God bless.
Come closer, my child.